What's up, YouTube? Currently less than a week out from the Olympia, 6 days away from stepping on stage. So it's Saturday, September 8th. I never know what day it is, you know that, but today we know what day it is. It's September 8th right now, and I got a lot of shit to do. We leave tomorrow morning at like 6 a.m. Barely even started packing. I'm just gonna stuff too much clothes into a suitcase and call it a day as I usually do. But I gotta get some food ready, gotta get some stuff ready. And I promised a Q&A video, so I'm gonna try and multitask and answer questions while I do shit today. So I'm cooking meal number 2 right now. It's 140 grams of rice and 190 grams of chicken with some veggies. So as I prepare that, I will answer the first question. From Ryan Simone. Chris, I'm curious about your view on peak week and vast array of methods. Does it really come down to trial and error, or do you feel there are better methods? I'm talking water manipulation, salt loading, carb loads, cuts, etc., etc. What works best for you? So this is something everybody should just have a coach and have a plan that's been put into process. Obviously, not everyone's gonna have the exact same peak week, be able to eat the same things, do the same kind of manipulation, and end up looking the same. You kind of plan in advance for what you're gonna do, and it is sort of like trial and error, where you get to learn your body and understand what's best for you. Personally, I stick very basic with things. I don't cut sodium, I don't do any crazy crap like that, but I do carb deplete very hard the week before. For me it's hard too because I have to make weight, so depending on my weight, I'd like to carb up for 3 days total, but sometimes me having to make my way in doesn't allow that. So optimally I would do that. I start water loading at about a week out, drinking 8 to 10 liters of water. Keeping salt the same on everything, a few cranks of salt on all my meals, just don't bother changing that. And then, like I said, we're carb depleting, so maybe 100 grams of carbs a day at that point. And then 3 days out, we kind of keep the water the same, really high, and start slowly adding in the carbs, and then we don't cut water until maybe 16 hours out. We reduce it to a little bit every meal, maybe like 150 milliliters a meal, so that your body can actually absorb the glycogen. And then the night before is normally where we sodium load, and I have a burger and fries, and I cover the shit in salt. And honestly, that meal's not even enjoyable. It's like you got nothing to drink, your mouth is dry, your stomach kind of feels like shit, you're putting this fat and salt in your body, you barely even enjoy a burger after that much prep. But that's kind of a very basic, typical peak week. But it's something you guys really, if you have a coach, you need to listen to them, you need to make a game plan because it's going to be different for everybody. Next question from Lone Wolf Army. Do you get shaky legs on stage? I absolutely get shaky legs on stage. It's a little bit less noticeable than I think it usually is, but I feel every time I step on stage to this day, I get nerves like crazy. I'm always nervous. Right before getting on stage, I'm like, my heart starts to race, I get a little bit shaky, and I honestly don't think that'll ever go away. I've always been a little bit of a anxious person when it comes to talking in crowds and stuff. I hated it as a kid. I couldn't do it. So that clearly hasn't got any better with age. It's gotten better, but I still get nervous. And on stage sometimes, I'll feel myself shake a bit and I need to gather myself. And it usually takes about me hitting like 3 or 4 poses to truly get my confidence in me. And I hope I get better with age. I've still only competed 9 times in my entire life. But yeah, so I still get shaky legs and nervous on stage. Next question from David the Saiyan. Who is your favorite Dragon Ball Z character? That reminds me, I want to download Dragon Ball Z for the flight tomorrow, so thank you, David the Saiyan. Probably Vegeta, my favorite character. He's a bit of an idiot, bit of a hothead, but he's a beauty, he's a hard ass, he's a good guy, and in the end he found himself and was happy. So Vegeta, he's just a beauty. He's one of my favorite characters to watch, at least. Next question, Dalton Joy. What is the best advice you can give someone who is starting their first bulk? So, one of the most important things in general when it comes to eating, especially bulking, is finding foods that your body can actually digest. Like, if you're eating pounds of rice a day and it's making you bloated and feel like shit and your energy's low and you feel like crap and you're eating rice all the time, your main carb source, maybe your body doesn't respond well to rice. Same with potatoes, chicken, steak, whatever. Red meat in general. No specific food is gonna work the same for everybody. So find out what makes your body feel best and what you can actually absorb. Because if it's sitting in there, kind of bloating you and stuff, like making you feel like shit, your body's not absorbing the nutrients like it should be, and you're obviously not gonna get optimal gains from the food as you wish. This is also something that can even, I believe, help keep your waist tight in and out of the off season, because obviously you're preventing bloating, you're preventing any distension year round. It's keeping your waist tight all the time, and I think that's an important factor personally in keeping a small waist, which is clearly very important when it comes to competing, especially classic physique. Next question from Escalante Tice. Do muscles get you laid? No. I'm sorry. They do the opposite, pretty much. I would say if you want to put on like a nice six-pack and go look good at the beach, then hell yeah. But the truth of the fact is, I think a lot of girls are intimidated or just think it's gross and you have too much muscle. So the more you start to look like a bodybuilder and the more you start to be shredded, I think girls honestly like it less, which is pretty hilarious because most people get into bodybuilding for girls. It's just stupid, but people do it, and yeah, they just think it's too much often. Like when I'm like a week out from a show, like right now, say I go to the beach with some friends and shit, they'll be like, "You're way too lean, like it's gross," you know? Or I'll be like, in my off season, feel like I'm fat and like insecure, have no abs, like blah blah, like insecure. Obviously, me thinking I'm fat. People will be like, "Yeah, you look way better like this," I like you better like that, and it's like, really? So I'd say the average people don't like the extreme amount of muscle, but teach their own, you know? Some freaky girls like big muscle guys, and that's that. Everybody's into their own shit. The next question is, how does your training style change as you get into 2 weeks out from the show or closer? Same with cardio. So, I mean, the goal is for it to change as little as possible. Obviously you want to keep your training intensity really high, but that's not really possible, obviously, when you're depleting so hard and you're on such low calories. So essentially, we still try and lift heavy, at least 1 or 2 sets in the workout, and we work towards like one really hard set for every single exercise we do, either a rest pause or a drop set, and really focus on contracting the muscle and just squeezing the crap out of it. Like, obviously we're not trying to set any PRs or anything like that, but you want to keep the weights pretty heavy and training as well as you can. It's funny, I thought in my head the other day, I've been training with Ian every day, and kind of what entered my head is like, our pace is slowed down a little bit, intensity slightly, still busting ass and killing ourselves, but we're gonna look slower from the outside because we feel like less energy. But what I noticed is like the way we're training right now at 1 week out is honestly how I notice most bodybuilders training year round in their off season when they get a little bit demotivated. And it kind of made me laugh just to think that like it just really shows the intensity that you need to be training with year round, you know? Like if you're training like we're training 1 week out all year, you're not gonna make any progress. Well, you'll make progress, but it'll be crap progress. So you'll be busting your goddamn ass year round, and then still busting your ass even if it looks like a bit less around peak week. And cardio hasn't changed. I've stuck with steady state cardio this entire prep in between recumbent bike and walking on the treadmill for an incline, and it's been, I haven't changed it. It's just gone up. I'm up to 1 hour and 20 minutes, and yeah, that's that. Next question, Ujwal_KMR. By keeping your fans, subs informed about your whole process, aren't you afraid you're keeping your competition informed as well? Especially the diet portion of the prep, or is it not to worry since most of you follow the same principles? Do I think I'm giving away my secrets essentially? No, not at all. I would tell anyone, any competitor, any day, anything I'm doing in brutal honesty, because if I can't beat them, without hiding anything from them, then well, like, is that really gonna cause them to beat me? Like, no. I'll still be working harder, I'll still be dieting harder. They can eat exactly what I'm eating. It's not gonna be the same, it's not gonna work the same for them. So yeah, no, not at all. I don't think that puts me at any disadvantage. I would happily share everything I'm doing, especially, I don't care about if that's a deficit that my competitors are seeing what I'm doing. I enjoy sharing with you guys everything I'm doing and have you guys kind of join me along the process and learn as much as you can, see as much as you can what it's like to be prepping for a show and living the lifestyle. Niall Schaefer asks, how many days a week do you train? How many days a week do you train, prep and off season? Silly question. 2 days, Saturday, Sunday. Next question. What is going to be your post-show meal? Now this is always a very stressful question when people ask me, because everyone's like, what are you gonna eat after? And it always varies and I never know what I want. Like right now, if I could eat whatever I want, honestly, would probably go to Tim Hortons and get a peanut butter cookie, a chocolate chip muffin, and a sprinkled donut. I think that's what I would eat. Okay, like maybe 4 of each, not just one. But I'm craving like pastries right now. But post-show, I'm normally so dehydrated that all I want is liquid. And the best thing I've ever had was the ices. I don't know if people know what I'm talking about. The one with the polar bear. That's like a much softer ice, not like a crunchy ice. It's a polar bear you can get at like movie theaters and shit. One time my mom, I think, or my sister brought it to me maybe after I turned pro last year. They ran across the street to a theater and brought one to me right after. I was so dehydrated, so thirsty, mouth so dry. Drank that and it was probably the best thing I ever had. And food-wise, I honestly often go out and get a salad because I'm craving like something fresh, and then I get like a pastry afterwards. But a combo of that, which would be perfect, would be cereal. And you guys know I love my cereal. So a lot of these questions that I've been getting that I skipped through were, what's your favorite cereal? So s'mores cereal. So post-show, perfect combo when you're thirsty. I want pastries, I want like some carbs, I want something wet and moist, you know? Moist. Cereal. S'mores cereal. So good. There's something about graham cracker. I love graham cracker on everything. I love graham cracker. And yeah, cereal. Next question from Joshua Andrew. Do you feel like it's harder to sustain friendships and relationships when you are prepping? By the way, I'm folding clothes. I'm doing the chores today. Do I think it's hard to keep relationships? Yes, absolutely. Obviously, it's a time where you're much more selfish. You can't really afford to, like, you can't go out to eat with friends. Your focus is more on getting your cardio done, getting your gym done, and you're often too tired to go and hang out with people, and it can make it difficult to kind of keep your friends close and all that. But I assure you, any real friends, any real people in your life that genuinely care about you won't leave you because of this. Maybe you'll be a little bit distant for the time being, but in the end, when the prep is over, if they really care about you and they're a real friend, then they'll still be there. From Make Totate, I don't know how to say that. Hey Chris, what's up with the single life? Would you ever date someone in the fitness industry? Single life is fucking good right now, I'm not gonna lie. It's been a joyous prep, to say the least, just to kind of be getting it done. Not worrying about anything else, focusing on what I need to focus on. That being said, relationships can help a lot in a prep if you're with the right person, but it is hard to find the right person who can support you and see how passionate you are about your goals and be there for you. So yeah, I'm enjoying the single life right now. Not doing anything too crazy obviously because I'm prepping, but it's just been kind of, it's been good to have some me time, really focus on myself and do what I need to do. And would I date someone in the fitness industry? I mean, I would never say never to that. Obviously, it would make them understand my lifestyle a lot better, the eating, the training. We could eat the same kind of stuff. That'd be the hardest part. Dating someone who doesn't understand how to eat would be difficult. But that being said, a lot of people I've been hearing and seeing about lately in this industry kind of suck. Girls and guys, I'm not going to single anybody out. It's just like this weird cult nature, obsessed with followers and fame and all this kind of crap. You'll see someone will have an awful reputation for being a bad person in the industry, but they'll like be famous, have a lot of followers, and some girl will make fun of them, and then the next week they'll be dating them because they're famous and have muscles and have followers. And I don't like that kind of fake shit. So obviously it depends on the person that I would date. There's endless amounts of personalities and characters in this industry, so could I find someone? Absolutely. Would it make it easier for me to kind of live with somebody who understands my lifestyle? Absolutely. So, you know, I'm not looking for anybody in any particular aspect of life, but if I find the right person, then I find the right person. I'll answer this one just to show off. What's the most you've ever deadlifted? Most I've ever deadlifted is 675, I believe. 7 plates. I think that's 675. I'll throw a video if I can find it. But that was a proud day. I worked up to 7 plates. I was in university at the time, and I was been killing it just for that 7 plate deadlift. And I got it once and never did it again. Haven't even really lifted heavy since then. So yeah, that's that. From Daniela Labaz. I've always wondered, is your hair naturally thin and straight, or do you relax your hair with chemicals? I'm not sure about chemicals. I don't get a perm or blowouts or whatever that's called, or blow dry my hair or anything, but I use product in it, because no, my hair is actually pretty dry and fluffy. Here, I'll go grab my gel. So if you guys actually care, I'll do a whole video. I'll go bring you to my barber, show the haircut and how do I do my hair and stuff. But essentially, this is the gel that I use all the time. It's a brand called Lo Saviro. No, they don't pay me, but it is a friend of mine who owns the company, local, made in Canada, and he ships them out to me. So this is a pomade. It's water soluble, which I like, so I don't have to always wash my hair. The more you wash your hair, it can make it more frizzy and whatnot. So I honestly don't shampoo very often. I just kind of, the less you shampoo, the more your hair can clean itself too. So this is usually what I use. It's a pomade. This is the Stronghold pomade by Lo Saviro. I can put their link below. And also, this is a new product I just got from them. It's like a leave-in conditioner type thing. It's much less, it's more like soft and pasty. It gives your hair a little bit more of an oily look and just like lets it fall and kind of move around, which a lot of people like a lot more, or the other one's a little bit of a stronger hold. But yeah, essentially all I do is get out of the shower, put a towel on my head for a little bit till it's like my hair is damp, and then I get like a fingerful, like a nickel of gel. Quite okay, more like a quarter, a lot of gel. Or loonie, you guys don't know what any of these coins are. A little bit of gel, and then I just run it through my hair, and it seems to work. How do you do after the preparation to avoid the retention of liquid? I guess that means like post-show, how do you keep water off, etc, etc. I'll actually do like a full video on this post-show, showing you guys kind of my reverse dieting, getting out of prep and whatnot. But the true secret to not holding on to water post-show is just to wait a week, honestly. If you keep your calories low and you keep doing cardio for 1 week, you won't get that gross bloat. Because what happens is when your body is so depleted, and then you usually carb up a little bit and you cut your water, all of a sudden your electrolytes are out of balance, your sodium's high, your potassium's low or high, whatever, your water's up, down, crazy, your body's so out of whack. And you've eaten a bunch of carbs, and then after the show you're like, oh, I'm gonna treat myself and eat a lot more carbs the day after, and your body just sucks up all the water and holds on to it, and then you are bloated already, and then you start to look at yourself and you're like, oh, I look like shit, and you often just kind of keep eating like shit, and you think you've put on fat, but it's really just water that's on you right now. And by the time that water comes off, you probably have put on fat because you kept eating like shit. Whereas if you wait a week and you let your body's electrolytes, water balance, all that kind of stuff adjust, you keep doing your cardio, you don't have to eat clean like you did on prep, but keep your calories lower, and you keep doing that for at least a week, and then you can start having cheats like once a week or so and slowly increasing your calories. Your body will thank you. You'll look a lot better. You'll stay lean for a lot longer post-show. So essentially the biggest secret is just waiting a week to truly binge. Yeah, but other than that, I'll make another video after the show about reverse dieting. Dirk.g, what is the significance of, or the meaning behind your tattoos? What are all your tattoos? So, not a crazy amount of significance between all of them. This one has the most meaning, I guess. It's the birth date, the last 2 digits of everybody in my family, right over my heart. So obviously you guys have heard me mention how important family is to me. It's like #1 in my life, so I thought that was pretty suitable to get them put over my heart because very important to me. And this was just kind of art, the tiger here and the arrow. The arrow I actually got with my sister. We both have an arrow on our forearm. Again, family. My sister is like my best friend and the people I'm closest to in my life, so we both have arrows on our arm. And the rose and the tiger was just kind of for style. But I got the rose and stuff when I was younger and it doesn't really fit in very well. So I actually have an appointment in January to cover up part of it and add the rest of my forearm. Another question I'm getting a lot is, am I going to do more tattoos? Right now, that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to fill out my forearm, keep it lower than here. Because another question I would get is, do tattoos hurt you in bodybuilding? And absolutely they can. Do I care to the point where I'm not going to get something that I really want that's going to be with me for the rest of my life? No. But I did avoid getting a tattoo covering my chest, covering my back, covering my arm, because that can throw off your symmetry a lot more than just your forearm. I have had judges tell me that it would be better if I didn't have it, but it's my body. I like it. I love it. So yeah, when I'm done competing, I'm going to get a hell of a lot more tattoos too. So it's my life. Cutting up chicken to fry. So a lot of the questions I've been getting are very similar, kind of just about competitors, competing, people, and what I think about Classic right now. So I'm just going to kind of put them all together from what I've gathered and just kind of talk about it. So essentially it's kind of like, who do I think is going to do well at the Olympia this year and why, blah, blah, blah. So biggest difference this year for Classic physique is that there's a lot more taller, bigger guys, in my opinion. There's Steve Laureus, David Hoffman, Regan Grimes, Wesley Vissers. They're all kind of top guys that people are really looking at right now and like their physiques and are getting excited to come in. Whereas last year it was not at all. I was the only tall guy at the top really. Arash was another kind of taller guy. He was on the mid height section, but Breon was short. George Peterson's pretty short. Danny Hester's pretty short. So lots of change this year, clearly, and which really is the beauty of this division, because anything could happen. Maybe they're not gonna like the tall guys, and I'm gonna be 8th place, and I'll be shook and I'll go home crying. But you never really know what's gonna happen. But I think it could potentially put me in an advantage, because last year I was the only tall guy, so I was kind of on my own. Whereas this year they might be like, oh, look at all these tall guys, they all look really good. Who looks the best out of them? That guy's gonna win. So in that sense, that would be a way I could push out Breon essentially. But who am I looking at as the #1 guy to beat? Absolutely Breon. Got nothing but respect for him. He crushed it last year. He brings his conditioning every single time. His exact strong points are my exact weak points. So we kind of like perfect rivals coming into this. And he's the one guy I want to beat, regardless of anything. He beat me last year. He's the guy to beat this year. End of story. And another guy who I think is amazing, who I keep forgetting about, and I'm very sorry to his fans because he has a lot, but is David Hoffman, just because he's a newer guy and he's from overseas. But this guy is classic as F. He is big. He is absolutely peeled out of his mind. Again, like everybody else, they're all older than me, so they all got a little bit more muscle maturity, but I'll get that in time. But I think he's going to do really well. A lot of people are kind of sleeping on him, I think. Of the guys like Regan, Wesley, and David, I think David's probably my favorite out of the 3 of them, and he has a smaller following, so people are kind of putting Wesley and Regan in front of him, but I think he might come out and surprise a bunch of people. So there's that. I absolutely think some of the top 5 is going to be very similar. I think Arash is going to be up there. I think George Peterson will be up there. That guy looks nuts right now. If you guys want to see some crazy conditioning, just a thick dude, check him out. Personally, I honestly think he looks a little bit 212, because he looks like he has a crazy amount of muscle, but he only weighs like 195 pounds right now. Of course, Breon, like I said, Regan, got an amazing physique, biggest guy on stage, absolutely. I think in a recent post he said he's still like 239 or 240 almost at like 2 weeks out. So he's going to be the biggest boy up there. And I honestly, for Chicago, I thought he weighed in at 222 because he was 5'11". That's what everybody said, but apparently he's grown an inch, lucky bastard. So he'll be same weight as me, coming in at 230. Like I said, I was like 234, so I'm easily on my way to making weight very early on time. And yeah, Wesley, I think he'll be in the top kind of 6, 7. I could be different, who knows. It depends on the conditioning he's able to bring. It's the Olympia, and a lot of guys first time at the Olympia, so what we're gonna see is people's best. I noticed that for myself last year, because you're prepping for the Olympia, you're crazy motivated, and food just doesn't matter, cardio doesn't matter. So anybody whose conditioning was a problem and they had everything else, it might not be a problem this time around because, well, it's the Olympia, come in shape, just diet, no excuses. So yeah, kind of my thoughts on those top guys, and that's that. Oh, and to wrap this video up, finally talk about this, because I was honestly scared myself, but everybody keeps asking if I tore my bicep or did something to it, and I'm not really sure why. The truth is, as I've been complaining about for years, is I just have really shitty bicep insertions. If you look at it, like, that's what a normal person's arm kind of looks like when they're flexed. Like, sorry, my wrist is turned this way and my bicep is like that, but when I turn it up, look how short that gets. So the insertion, like origin insertion, is extremely high on my bicep, so it makes it look much smaller. But no, it's not torn. I honestly thought it was too, because it looks like a little indent, but it's just the shape of it because it's so short. Like, look at that. Yeah, I don't know, but I looked at it when I started to get a little bit leaner, and I was worried I tore it too, because there have been cases where people do have a very slight tear in their bicep and it just kind of creates an impingement and you don't even feel any pain, and you just kind of live with it until it fully tears or whatever. So maybe I should get that checked out, but I don't have any pain. I don't think I tore it. It's literally, it looked like this my entire life. I just have shitty arms. So thanks for exposing me, guys. But yeah, it's the end of this video. I'm being very unproductive and trying to answer questions and cook and clean and shit, so I'm gonna wrap this up and try and get my shit together because I fly out in like 12 hours. Yeah, last video in Canada, see you in Vegas.